I'm Nathan, and welcome to Stories with a Twang. For this week's episode, I'm going to read Long Dog from 13 Tennessee Ghosts and Jeffrey by Catherine Tucker Wyndham. "Gotta grease that squeaking wheel tomorrow," the wagon driver said to his wife. "Don't think I can stand to hear it complaining another 2 miles. Should have stopped and greased it this afternoon, but there wasn't time. Dark has already caught us as it is, and I don't know how far we have to go before we find a settlement or a campsite." His wife, sitting on the hard wagon seat beside him, tried to ease his anxiety. She was a wise wife who understood him well and knew that though he spoke of a noisy wagon wheel, his real concern was to find shelter for the night. By saying, "The squeaking wheel isn't bad. I don't mind it. Listen, it seems to be saying, 'New home, new home, new home.' It's nice." She turned around and called to their son in the back of the wagon. "Don't you like it, Alex? You hear the wheel talking about our new home in Tennessee, don't you?" Alex didn't answer. He leaned his head against a cowhide trunk and pretended to be asleep. "The boy is asleep. Must be plumb worn out," Alex's mother whispered to her husband. "Maybe the squeaking wheel just lured him off to sleep. He must like it, too." Alex didn't like the noise. Didn't like it at all. He pulled his knit cap down over his ears and then he covered them with his hands, but still he heard the rhythmic squeak of the wheel repeating and repeating. Long dog, long dog, long dog. Alex was frightened. He had been listening how many hours ago, how many miles ago, when a man had warned his father, "If you're on the road at night, be on the lookout for Long Dog. He never has hurt anybody as I know of, but he sure has scared a lot of folks traveling along near Sirgoinsville after dark. He's a ghost dog, you know." Alex's father had laughed as if he knew the stranger were joking. The stranger didn't laugh, though. Alex noticed, and something about the look in the man's eyes made Alex uneasy. The boy wanted to know more about Long Dog, but he was too timid to ask questions. He hoped his father would ask the questions that tumbled around in his mind, but his father did not appear to be interested or concerned about the stranger's warning. He stopped only long enough to get water for the horses and information about the trail ahead, not long enough to inquire about a ghost dog. So Alex sat in the back of the wagon and listened to the wheel grind out the fearsome warning, "Long dog, long dog, long dog." The monotony of the sound was hypnotic, and though he fought sleep, Alex nodded. He waked suddenly as the wagon jolted over a big rock. He heard his father cursing the rock in the darkness, and he heard his mother say reassuringly, "We can't be far from Sirgoinsville." Alex stretched and tried to find a more comfortable position in the wagon. Then he saw Long Dog. Lopping down the dark road behind the wagon came the biggest dog Alex had ever seen. The dog wasn't so tall, he was long and lithe and glowing. "Papa, Papa!" Alex shouted. "It's Long Dog!" His parents turned around to comfort Alex about what was obviously a bad dream, and they too saw the animal coming toward them. Long Dog, running with a swift grace, had almost caught up with the wagon. His sleek body shone in the dark like the brilliance of reflected moonlight. "Get away from here," Alex's father shouted. "Get away, I say." The phantom dog paid no heed. He ran along by the wagon for a little piece, and then he reared up so he could look over the side. He didn't try to get into the wagon, just looked all around. He acted as if he were trying to see who was riding in the clattering vehicle. He didn't make a sound, not a sound. The horses, sensing a strange presence, bolted and raced through the darkness. Alex's father strained back on the reins, locked the brake, and shouted to his frightened horses to halt their runaway pace. "Whoa now, whoa," he urged his team. "Hold on, hold tight," he called to his wife and son. For the moment, he was too busy trying to calm his horses and take care of his family to pay attention to Long Dog. Alex braced himself against a heavy trunk in the wagon, and he squeezed his eyes tightly shut. Finally, he felt the wagon slow almost to a stop, and he heard his father say, "It's all right now." Quickly, Alex climbed up to the front of the wagon and edged into the seat between his parents. There, all three looked behind them. Long Dog was squatting on his haunches back down the road a piece, just sitting there watching the wagon. The dog looked lonesome, Alex thought, and pitiful too. Alex began to cry, the first tears he had shed since they had left their home in the Carolinas. His mother pulled him to her, holding him close. His father reached over and tousled his hair and then let his strong hand remain on his head a moment, long enough to give Alex a feeling of reassurance and of blessing. "Don't be scared," his mother said. Alex wasn't scared, not anymore. He didn't know why he was crying except that his sadness was somehow mixed up with a strange ghost dog. Later, when they finally reached Sir Gowensville, his father told men there of their encounter with the luminous dog and of the runaway horses. Alex was afraid his father might tell about his tears and the men might think he was a coward, but his father made no mention of the crying. "That was Long Dog, all right," one of the listeners said. "Lots of travelers have seen Long Dog along that stretch of road. I've seen him myself more than once." And he told the story of Long Dog, the story Alex had been wanting to hear. As do many Tennessee tales, the story of Long Dog involves John Murrell, the notorious outlaw of the frontier. It seems that back when Murrell was terrorizing the countryside with his bold robberies and his brutal murders back in the late 1820s and early 1930s, a family was passing through East Tennessee on the way to a new home near Nashville. They made camp for the night beneath a spreading white oak tree between Kingsport and Sir Gowensville. While they were asleep, Murrell and his gang, depraved men, all fell upon the travelers and killed them. Murrell even strangled the faithful hound dog that tried to protect the family. Some years later, possibly after Murrell had been imprisoned for his crime, settlers traveling the old stage route to Nashville via Bristol, Rogersville, and Knoxville began to tell of seeing a mighty peculiar dog, a ghost dog, along the way. The dog, they said, would come out of the thick shadows of a white oak tree near Sir Gowensville, and he would run along beside their wagons, run without making a sound. Every now and then the dog would leap up on a wagon and sniff around. "The dog acts like he's hunting for somebody he thinks a heap of," they say. "Well, what does he look like?" "Well, he sure doesn't look like any natural dog. He's long, more than twice as long as any dog you've ever seen. I'd say he's as long as a plow line. And he shines in the dark. It's sort of like he had maybe a dozen lanterns inside of him shining through his skin. Or maybe it's like he's made out of a big hunk of foxfire. It sure is scary looking." All of the travelers who encountered the ghost dog told almost identical stories. Not everybody believed the stories. One of the doubters was young Marcus Hamblin, a husky 18-year-old who lived with his family near Sir Gowensville. "A ghost dog? If I ever saw such a glowing critter, I'd kill him and skin him and nail his hide up on the side of the barn. Or maybe I'd cut him up and use all the glowing light to go coon hunting on dark nights," Hamblin boasted. He didn't believe in ghosts of any kind. Not long after he had made that boast, Marcus Hamblin, Hamblin County was named for his family, was walking home from a frolic one dark night. As he neared an old white oak tree, the ghost dog came trotting out of the shadows toward him. Marcus snatched a rail from the fence beside the road. "Come on, old Long Dog, I'll kill you dead," he warned. Long Dog never slowed up, just came trotting right on toward Hamblin. When the ghost dog got close enough, Hamblin drew back with the fence rail and hit Long Dog as hard as he could. The rail went clean through the luminous dog. Hamblin forgot all his boasting. He dropped the rail and ran. Long Dog ran right along by him. Hamblin ran faster, so did Long Dog. Hamblin sped up, so did Long Dog. Hamblin ran until he didn't have a bit of breath left. He stumbled and sprawled out in the road. Long Dog squatted on his haunches right beside Hamblin and waited. As soon as his breath and strength returned, Hamblin got up and ran again. Long Dog ran right along beside him. They ran down the road side by side. Long Dog adjusted his pace to Hamblin's, and Hamblin succumbed to exhaustion again. Long Dog waited patiently beside the prostrate youth. When Hamblin caught his breath, off they went again. This strange race kept up until Hamblin and Long Dog reached a peculiar spot in the road where observers said Long Dog always disappeared. That's what happened then. Long Dog completely vanished. One minute he was trotting beside Hamblin, and the next minute he was gone. Hamblin stumbled home. He was considerably shaken by the experience. That wasn't the last time that Marcus Hamblin saw Long Dog, but it was the last time he ever tried to kill the ghost dog or to run away from him. In fact, as time passed, Hamblin grew fond of Long Dog and looked forward with pleasure to their infrequent encounters near the oak tree on the road to Sir Gowensville. Many people through the years saw that ghost dog, Long Dog, but probably nobody ever felt as friendly toward him as Marcus Hamblin did, and nobody ever told stories about him better than Hamblin did. Hamblin used to end his stories by saying, "Long Dog didn't mean any harm. He never tried to hurt anybody, though he did scare a lot of folks. That old ghost dog was just out there trying to find his murdered master. He must have loved his master an awful lot. I hope he found him, somewhere." It has been a good many years since anybody up in that part of Tennessee has seen Long Dog. Maybe the road has changed, or maybe people drive by too fast now. Or maybe Long Dog has been reunited with his master, the way Marcus Hamblin hoped he would be. Alright everyone, so that's it for this week's story. I hope to have some type of Christmas episode soon, but with personal challenges and family issues arising, I'm not sure I'll be able to get it out. So if I don't have an episode by Christmas, I just wanted to tell you all that I hope you all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. If you have any stories you would like me to read on the show, you can send them over to storieswithatwang@gmail.com. You can follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at Stories with a Twang Podcast. The show is also now on YouTube at Stories with a Twang Podcast. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and remember that a little twang goes a long way.